Fight and Talk back again, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Reece Mcewan ahead of his bout on Cage Warriors 156 in Cardiff on July the 1st against Leonardo De Oliveria. Reece, before we look at the fight and everything itself, the last time we spoke, it wasn't in the circumstances we wanted to be. Of course, it was just after you'd had to pull out of that fight in Manchester. How are things with you? How's the leg? And how's everything going?
Yeah, everything's absolutely fine now. It all happens for a reason. The leg's absolutely fine. A couple of weeks, as soon as the wee hole closed up in my shin, I was back to kicking people. But yeah, I'm all good. I'm all ready for next week.
How long did that take then, that sort of recovery process? Because I know when you've seen this, and I know the reel on the Instagram sort of shows just how bad that injury was. But how long did it take to then recover from something like that?
I think the wound took 3 weeks to close up completely, and then I had to give it a few more days just to make sure because the skin was dead sensitive. So I was back to training after the infection hit about 3.5 weeks. I done no contact for the first week, and then after that I wore leggings just out of sheer I think it was more mind over. I mean, it was thing I wore leggings for a wee while, and then before I knew it, I was over it. So I've got a wee scar to show. You'll see that next Saturday night. The wee purple scar in the middle of my shin with no hair.
Look, and like you say, you're all over now. So if we do look at that, then next weekend, I know you were wanting to get on this Cardiff card. I know Wales is like a home from home for you, if you like, for your training. But it was very much a last minute opponent coming in. Not a lot of tape out there on him at all when I've been having a look. What do you make of De Oliveria as an opponent? And were you surprised when the name got put to you?
Yeah, well, so obviously I knew about the Cardiff card when I had to pull out and stuff, and I had a conversation that was obviously the next day that I was working towards. About 6.5 weeks out from the fight, I did get offered someone. I won't say who, but former world title challenger and whatnot. But they wanted a catch weight at 6.5 weeks out, and that makes no sense. Like, I'm not a big weight cutter, and £140 a catch weight's only really on the table when it's a short notice fight, not when you're 6.5 weeks out. If you're 6.5 weeks out, you can't make the weight, then you're fighting in the wrong weight class, in my opinion. So then that never came together, and then we were just basically waiting on a new offer, and then that came through. So that's why I never really get too focused on opponents and stuff, because someone can come out that you don't even expect, whether they're in the division or they're not. But at the end of the day, my opponent, a Brazilian guy, he's tough. He'll be hard to put away. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He poses a threat there, and he likes to be scissor knee. So I need to be very careful, and I just can't. See, to be honest, I'm just so in the zone now. I just can't wait to fight. I've been, every time I get an opponent, I think about them every night before I go to my bed. I visualise fighting them every single day. I'm done visualising now. I just want to fight. Well, I want to touch gloves and I want to go and fight and win.
Was there any sort of hesitancy at all to take this matchup as almost a bit of a banana skin? Because look, we know that on paper this might not look like a tough bout, but we know how good of a matchmaker Ian Dean is, and he certainly won't give you any gimme fights. We know how quick the division of £135 moves is. So yeah, was there any hesitancy going into this of it being a bit of a banana skin?
No, honestly, as silly as it sounds, I don't decide who I fight at the end of the day, and no matter what people say out there, if you're surrounded by the right people, you will have coaches and managers who will decide this fight's the right fight for you, this fight's etc. So see, by the time the discussions come to me, I don't even get to choose, and if it passes the coaches and the manager side of things, then that's fine. Just send me the contract and I'll sign it straight away. But at the end of the day, the test of having a black belt in jiu-jitsu is a high level test as it is. The guy's also had 13 professional fights. He's had more professional wins than I've had professional fights. So on paper, I can't have anybody overlooking that opponent, because it's a very, very tough opponent. He's finished people. Like I said, he's got more wins than I've got pro fights, and he's a black belt in jits. So in my opinion, I want to go back to back black belt after black belt, and either submit them or put them away. So every fight carries a risk. Honestly, every fight does. But my job is to go in there and go in and win at the end of the day.
On that then, you've mentioned it a couple of times, you use a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Look, during your Cage Warriors tenure so far, we've seen a lot of jiu-jitsu. I think 2 submission finishes for you in that decision.
Yeah. 2 chokes, yeah.
Is that what you're expecting from him then, to try and take this to the floor? And obviously, without going into too much detail, would your game plan be looking to maybe try and keep this on a feet and make it more of a striking affair?
So the big difference in my game over the last since the Sam Spencer fight is the Crawford fight. It was too soon for me to apply that. Is my ground and pound, like when I take people down. So that's why, like when I see when I think about jiu-jitsu and belts and jiu-jitsu now in MMA, I'm grappling for MMA now. Like I'm a brown belt and I know I've got a lot of faith in my grappling. I've got a lot of faith in my wrestling. But when I start elbowing you in the face, you're not going to think about what submissions you're putting up. You're going to be thinking about I don't want to hit off that again. And that's been an excellent like advancement in my game. So I'll always have the submission threat, but oh, sorry, somebody tried to phone me. I always have a submission threat, but now you've got to worry about me elbowing punching you in the face on top.
I know, look, we mentioned it before about Wales being almost like your home from home. You do spend weeks of your camp down there. I know you put photos on your social media the other day. It was an absolute murderous row of like bantamweights and featherweights. What's it like now to get a fight down there where you spend so much of your time?
It's obviously like it's going to be good because I'll be fighting alongside like Rory Evans and Scott Pedersen, and like I said, for the guys that are fighting at my weight class, like you won't get a better gym in Europe in terms of from 125 pounds to 145 pounds. You just won't. You get like world ranked fighters there and top fighters in Europe, and obviously a team of up and coming amateurs. So fighting in Cardiff, obviously, it's going to be familiar for me, and I get to fight alongside the boys. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and it's something new for me as well. I've never fought in Cardiff. It's a brand new arena, and that's what I want to do in this sport now. I want to get on to new experiences, and that excites me a lot.
I mean, I know we spoke about it every time the support that you've got, but I mean, Jesus, going down from Scotland to Wales, you're really testing them this time, aren't you? But what's the sort of response been like? And especially with me on a short notice, no doubt you'll still be taking down the bus load, are you?
Yeah, it was so funny. I was speaking to someone and they were like, so we sent you down, we gave you the most south that we could send you in the UK, and you've still sold like X amount of tickets. And obviously, off the back of me withdrawing a week out from the fight, that'll put hesitations in people's minds as well. And that adds extra bit of motivation as well. That the people who have, like, within an hour of the tickets getting sold, I sold out half a section. I think like 30 tickets straight away. And that's ridiculous considering everybody who's going has to stay down for at least 2 nights. So, like, obviously, that's getting brought up quite a lot in the support. And I'm getting a couple of memories on my social media of the support years ago, like when I first started out. And I think that's what's really important. This isn't just a bunch of people. This isn't just a bunch of people just, Reece Mcewan's doing well, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. It's a case of they've always been there. And when I had that staph infection, the amount of messages that were like, who cares about the fight? Are you okay? That spoke volumes for me. So obviously I'm incredibly proud of the support, and I really just want to go out there and put on a performance for them and make them proud and go and celebrate with them after. Because they've had 2 fights and I've only been there for once. How's that fair?
If we do look at the division, then look, I know the last time we spoke, it was a bit bottlenecked at the top of exactly what was going to happen. There seems to be a much clearer picture now. Where do you sort of see yourself now in that division, and ultimately with a win over De Oliveira next weekend? Where do you see that putting you?
This is so cliche, but I just feel like everybody keeps asking how you feel, and I feel like I'm the champion just now. It's just the way my mind is. Like when you interview me, like when I don't have a fight, I'll be very neutral and stuff. But if you're interviewing me, like in the few days leading up to it, I'm just completely thinking of competitiveness, and my mind's in just a completely different place. I just see myself like fighting in Cage Warriors, my hand being raised, and a Cage Warriors belt getting wrapped around my shoulder. Even though it's not a title fight, it's just where my mind's at right now. So the division is going to change. Like the champ might be off to the UFC, other contenders might go to Dana White's Contender Series. I just see myself at the top of the division, and I just see myself at the top of the division, and then after this fight and my post-fight interviews and stuff like that, then I might be like, right, where's that belt? I want that belt now. I don't want that belt to be a thought process anymore. I want it to go round my waist and round my shoulders towards the end of the year. So I see myself at the top. I see myself at the top, but I'm not at that title fight yet. So I need to get this one and then work towards that.
On that then, if we look at the likes of Oban Elliott, he's now been drafted into this season of the Contender Series without having the belt. For you, is the goal to get the belt, then go to the UFC, or if the Contender Series came calling, is that the route you'd explore?
I get the belt. I want to be a Cage Warriors World Champion. I want that, and then Yeah. I want that title. I want that belt because that's what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this to be the best. I'm doing this to be. I want to prove that I'm the best in Europe. And again, obviously, there has been there has been opportunities to go and put myself forward for the Contender or the Ultimate Fighter and stuff, and I've said no. I want the Cage Warriors title around my waist.
Perfect. Look, I know you're quite pushed for time, so just the last couple. You've mentioned the likes of Scott Pedersen, Rory Evans being on this card. Can I just get a word off you on them and what we can expect to see from them next weekend?
Yeah, they're going to put on a show. They're going to steal the show as well. Like me and they two are going to put on we're going to all put on amazing performances, and it'll be good to watch Scott and Rory batter someone else and not me for once. So, they're going to put on a brilliant show for you. And if you're watching, if you don't know them, please watch the fights because they're very, very good fighters, and I can't wait to see them. I think they'll both finish their opponents. They're both obviously tough fights, but I value and respect them so much. So I can't wait to sit back and watch them get their win.
Finally, then, look, last one. You've made it very clear what your intentions are to go and get that belt, and you won't be looking over Leonardo, of course. But for the rest of the year, where will you be looking at? I mean, you've dragged them to Manchester, you've dragged them to Cardiff. That Newcastle show has just been announced.
I knew you were going to say Newcastle. There's a few Saturdays free in November, right? I'm like, please announce the Scotland card. But at the end of the day, Newcastle's not too far away from Scotland. I was thinking of like these sound bites there when I was saying I want the Cage Warriors belt, but I'm going to get this. I'm going to win this fight. That's where my head's at. I'm going to win this fight. I'm going to get a finish. I'm going to be 7-1. In my head, I picked up a victory in April. I'm going to get this fight, and then I'm going to, like I said, after I beat Kingsley Crawford, I was told off my coaches I was calling for an interim shot. I was calling for a title shot. I was like, interim me, Nathan Fletcher, or a title shot, blah, blah, blah. And my coach put me aside and said, look, I want you to slow down. I said, you're going to get too fast for a like. I said, okay, right, I'll listen in. Have a couple more fights. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm getting a wee bit ahead of my boots here, right? Fair, no problem. I've slowed things down. I've had a couple of fights. I want the title after this one.
Perfect. Look, Reece, I know you're going to train now. So
and Newcastle for you?
Yes, of course. It'll be a nice local one for me. I won't have to travel the country either. So,
what Cage Warriors World Champion? How many home from homes can I have? Manchester, Wales, Newcastle.
Yeah, but even that though, like the last time you were down in Newcastle, Sunderland area, it was the Luke Westwood fight, and the crowd down there. I was calling that fight that night. That was incredible. So I'm sure you'll bring down loads to that as well.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to win it in the same kind of town where I picked up my first loss and stuff. But like I said, obviously, let's 1st of July, and then afterwards, let's see what Cage Warriors have in mind for me. But now you're asking me, I'll be like, I want the UFC belt next week. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not thinking like a normal person right now. I'm a week out for my fight, but yeah, win this fight and then go for the belt.
Perfect, Reece. We won't be down there, but I'm sure I'll catch up with you after the fight anyway. But thank you very much for your time and all the best next weekend.
Thank you so much for your time. Thanks to everybody for listening. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.